This is Toronto, a city that looks and feels like a major American metropolis, but operates on a completely different set of rules. While much of urban America is defined by a deep history of racial segregation, a devotion to the automobile, and a culture of individualism, Toronto feels like the opposite. Instead of a city divided by race, it is one of the most diverse and integrated cities on Earth. Instead of a city that surrendered to the car, it is a city that has maintained a vibrant, transit-oriented urban core. And unlike American cities that are often defined by a single dominant culture, Toronto is a city of 100 cultures, a place where no single group is the majority. So how did Toronto end up like this? And why does it feel like the opposite of the typical American city, even though it is just a short drive across the border? To understand why Toronto looks and feels the way it does, we have to start with its most defining characteristic, its radical diversity. Toronto is, by many measures, the most multicultural city in the world. Over half of its population was born outside of Canada, and it is home to over 200 different ethnic groups speaking more than 140 languages. This is not just a statistic, it is the city's defining feature. Unlike American cities, where immigrant communities are often concentrated in specific ethnic enclaves, Toronto's diversity is woven into the fabric of the entire city. Neighborhoods like Kensington Market, Chinatown, and Little Italy are not just tourist destinations. They are living, breathing communities that have maintained their cultural identity while also being fully integrated into the larger city. This level of diversity is not an accident. It is the result of a deliberate national policy of multiculturalism that Canada adopted in the 1970s. A policy that stands in stark contrast to the melting pot ideal of the United States. In Toronto, immigrants are encouraged to maintain their cultural heritage, and the city provides a wide range of services and support to help them do so. This has created a city that is not just diverse, but also remarkably tolerant and inclusive. It is a city where people from all over the world live and work together, a model of what a truly global city can be. This brings us to the second pillar of Toronto's unique identity, its commitment to public transit and its rejection of the car-centric model that has defined so many American cities. Toronto has the largest and busiest streetcar system in North America, a network of electric-powered vehicles that crisscross the city's downtown core. The streetcars are not just a quaint historical artifact. They are a vital part of the city's transportation network, carrying hundreds of thousands of people every day. The city also has a comprehensive subway system, a network of buses, and a growing number of bike lanes. This commitment to public transit has allowed Toronto to maintain a dense, walkable urban core, even as its population has grown. Compare this to a city like Detroit, another Great Lakes city that was once a thriving industrial metropolis. Detroit surrendered to the automobile, tearing up its streetcar lines and building a vast network of highways that carved up its neighborhoods and hollowed out its downtown. The result was a city that became completely dependent on the car, a city that lost its urban vitality and its sense of community. Toronto, by contrast, made a conscious decision to invest in public transit, a decision that has paid off in the form of a vibrant, livable city. This commitment to a dense urban form is also reflected in the city's housing market. Toronto is in the midst of a massive condo boom, with new residential towers rising all over the city. While this has led to concerns about affordability and the quality of life in these new high-rise neighborhoods, it has also allowed the city to accommodate a growing population without sprawling into the surrounding countryside. In fact, Toronto is surrounded by a protected green belt, a vast area of farmland and natural spaces that is off-limits to development. This is a stark contrast to the unchecked sprawl that has characterized so many American cities, from Phoenix to Atlanta. This brings us to the third and final pillar of Toronto's unique identity, its underground city. Known as the Path, this network of pedestrian tunnels and walkways stretches for over 30 kilometers beneath the city's downtown core, connecting more than 70 buildings, including office towers, shopping centers, and subway stations. The Path is the largest underground shopping complex in the world, and it allows residents and workers to navigate the city center without ever having to go outside. This is a particularly useful feature in a city that experiences cold, snowy winters. But the Path is more than just a convenience. It is a symbol of the city's commitment to creating a comfortable, accessible, urban environment for its residents. It is a city that has been designed with the pedestrian in mind, a city that has prioritized the human experience over the automobile. All of this shows why Toronto feels so different from almost every other city in North America. Its radical diversity, its commitment to public transit, and its innovative use of underground space all work together to create a city that is both uniquely livable and incredibly dynamic. It is a city that has managed to combine the best of both worlds, the economic dynamism of a major American metropolis with the social cohesion and quality of life of a European city. And in a world that is becoming increasingly divided, Toronto stands as a powerful example of how a city can be both diverse and united, both global and local, both a great place to work and a great place to live. But to truly understand why Toronto is the opposite of every American city, you have to look at the forces that shaped it and the forces that it deliberately chose to resist. The story of American cities in the 20th century is, in many ways, the story of white flight. As Black Americans migrated from the South to northern cities in the mid-20th century, white residents and businesses fled to the suburbs, taking their tax dollars with them. This process hollowed out city after city, from Detroit to Cleveland to Baltimore, leaving behind concentrated poverty, crumbling infrastructure, and deep racial segregation that persists to this day. Toronto experienced none of this. Canada's different history of race relations, combined with its deliberate immigration policies, meant that the city never experienced the same kind of white flight that devastated so many American cities. Instead, Toronto's suburbs are some of the most diverse places in the world, home to thriving immigrant communities from South Asia, East Asia, the Caribbean, and Africa. The diversity is not concentrated in a single neighborhood or a single part of the city. It is everywhere, in the suburbs as much as in the downtown core. This is a fundamentally different model of urban development, one that has produced a far more equitable and integrated city. There is also the question of public safety. Toronto is one of the safest major cities in North America, with a homicide rate that is a fraction of comparable American cities. This is not just a matter of gun laws, though Canada's strict gun regulations certainly play a role. It is also a reflection of the city's social fabric, its relatively low levels of inequality, and its strong social safety net. In Toronto, the gap between the rich and the poor, while growing, is still significantly smaller than in most major American cities. This has created a city where people of all backgrounds feel safe walking the streets, a city where the public realm is genuinely shared by everyone. And then there is the question of the city's relationship with its own history. Unlike many American cities that bulldozed historic neighborhoods in the name of urban renewal, Toronto has made a conscious effort to preserve its architectural heritage. Neighborhoods like Cabbagetown and the Annex are full of beautifully preserved Victorian and Edwardian row houses, a reminder of the city's 19th century origins. This commitment to preservation has given Toronto a sense of continuity and character that many newer, faster-growing American cities lack. It is a city that knows where it came from, even as it constantly reinvents itself. The result of all of these forces, the diversity, the transit, the density, the safety, the preservation, is a city that feels genuinely different from any American city you have ever visited. It is a city that has managed to grow into a global metropolis without losing its soul. It is a city that has embraced the future without abandoning the past. And it is a city that, perhaps more than any other in North America, offers a glimpse of what a truly 21st century city can look like. A city that is not just wealthy and dynamic, but also fair, inclusive, and deeply human. Toronto does not just feel like the opposite of every American city. In many ways, it is the answer to the questions that American cities have been struggling with for decades.